Bear down. This is war. Is Ryan Poles playing God with the future of the team? First, he goes for an $18 million defensive tackle that nitrogen monoxide 1 understands. Is he our new hero? Or a bust that will crush the salary cap? Wait, it gets worse. While you're asking for protection for Caleb, management is secretly obsessed with a draft prospect that could lead the offensive line in flames. One mistake and goodbye franchise. Think I'm exaggerating? Wait, because now comes the big one. They just released a key linebacker to bet on a convert who doesn't even play in his position. Are they crazy or is there a diabolical plan? This is not just news. It's an earthquake that defines if we will be champions or beggars. Subscribe. An OW, or you'll be left out when the truth explodes in seconds. Liking is free, but missing this will be fatal. Attention, Chicago Bears fans. We have a name that could shake up the defense in 2025. Milton Williams, the Eagles champion, the piece Ryan Poles needs. I'll explain WH why this could be a brilliant move or a $1 million mistake. First, context. The Bears' problem? The trenches. We need pressure on the QB. Everyone talks about edge rushers, but there's silence on the interior. And here comes this monster from Philadelphia, 25 years old, 11.5 sacks in 4 seasons, and a Super Bowl where he crushed Mahomes with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. 5 sacks in 2024 from the interior, top 20 in pressures. Think that's not enough? I'm telling you that in the interior he's pure gold. But beware, fans. Here comes the dilemma. Sportrac estimates his contract at $17.8 million per year. Is that investment worth it for a defensive tackle? I'm asking you directly. If PFF 70.1 ranks him 31st in his position, are we paying almost $80 million for someone who isn't top 10? The NFL is a business of values, not nostalgia. Here's my controversial opinion. If Poles thinks he can turn him into an edge rusher, sign that check right now. But if they keep him on the interior, they're wasting resources. With needs at corner, receiver, and offensive line, do we prioritize an expensive DT when the draft is full of young and cheap talent? And don't even talk about his success in Philadelphia. Was Williams the game destroyer? Or a product of the Eagles system? Can he shine without Fletcher Cox beside him? Let me remind you that in Chicago, we don't have that luxury of stars on the defensive line. But hey, this isn't black-white. His performance in the Super Bowl was MOVIE-like. 40 QB pressures, 500 snaps, consistency. If Poles wants a dominant defense, like in the old days, maybe the price is necessary. Imagine Williams with Montez Sweat. It would be terrifying. Now, the big question for you. Would you sign Milton Williams for $53 million 3 years? Or prefer to invest in an elite edge rusher and look for a DT in the draft? Would the Bears really risk their future for Ashton Jeanty? I have the truth here. What's going on here, Bear Down fans? Have Ryan Poles and his staff gone crazy? Or is there a master plan that no one is seeing? I bring you exclusive, controversy, and data that will blow your mind. First, quick context. The Bears made moves in free agency. They brought in Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, 2 veterans on the offensive line. Enough to protect Caleb Williams. After he was sacked 68 times last season? I think not. But here comes the hot debate. If they fix the line via free agency, could they use the number 10 draft pick on Ashton Jeanty, the monstrous running back from Boise State? Let me drop the facts. Jeanty is no ordinary player. 2,601 rushing yards, 29 TDs in 2024, unanimous All-American. Won the Maxwell, the Doak Walker, and almost grabbed the Heisman. A generational prospect? Without a doubt. But is this what the Bears need right now? Here comes Brad Biggs from the Chicago Tribune, and let me tell you, this man did not hold back. It's hard to imagine the Bears filling all their holes on the offensive and defensive lines to afford the luxury of picking Jeanty, he said. Luxury? Hey, Biggs, is it a luxury to have a running back who can change dynamics? Or is it a luxury not to protect your future QB? But listen to this. Thuney and Jackson have 1-year contracts. Do you think that solves anything long-term? Let me remind you that Caleb Williams is the franchise. If they don't build a young and dominant line, we'll see him eating grass 60 times a season again. And that, my friends, is unacceptable. Poles dilemma. Ginty in the first round or prioritize the trenches? Biggs nailed it. This draft is deep in running backs. There are quality options on day 2. So, why burn the number 10 on an RB if you can get talent later? But Ginty is not normal. He's a beast, a hybrid of power and explosiveness. With Dandre Swift, they'd form a thunder and lightning that would scare the NFC North top. But hold on, the defensive line is in limbo. Do you know how many sacks the Bears had in 2024? 40. Do you know how many Montez Sweat had? 5.5. 5.5. They need a predator on the other side. And in this draft, there are monsters like Dallas Turner or Laiatu Latu. If one falls to number 10, ignore him for Ginty? That would be a crime. And don't forget this, Ryan Poles is not here to win headlines. He's here to build. Biggs said it. Clear. There are no shortcuts. This takes multiple seasons. If they want to be the Eagles, they need elite trenches. Does Ginty sell jerseys? Sure. But does he protect Williams? No. My final verdict. Position yourself. I ask you, what good is having a Ferrari, Ginty, if the roads, the line, are full of potholes? Caleb is the future. A mistake here could ruin his development. Plus, why not look for a Carson Steele or Blake Corum in rounds 3 to 4? Now I want to. No. What would you do? Ginty at all costs, even if it risks the future. Or prioritize the lines and look for an RB later. Do you think management is playing their cards right? Because they just made a big bet on 2 key pieces, but left huge doubts along the way? Let's get right to the edge of the knife. Signing with bare blood. First things first, the organization. Just extended contracts to 2 exclusive rights free agents. On the defensive side, Daniel Hardy, that linebacker who does not back down on special teams. 11 tackles, a forced fumble, and even blocked a punt last year. Do you know the value of a specialist who can change the rhythm of a game with a single play? This man is a whirlwind. And on the other side of the trench, Bill Murray. Yes, the same one who started as a defensive tackle, and now the Bears see him as a project on the offensive line. Risk or genius? He tore his pectoral in 2024 after shining in preseason. Can this converted player surprise everyone and earn a spot on the roster? Management clearly believes in his potential. But wait, here comes the hot debate. The Bears did not offer a contract to Jack Sanborn, a restricted free agent linebacker. Remember his solid tackles in 2023? Why let go of a player who seemed key while retaining others? I ask you directly, is this a strategic error or a calculated gamble? And attention, Jonathan Ford and Amir Speed are still on the ERFA's list. Will they be the next to sign, or is management leaving them in the shadows? Don't forget that Amir is a quarter with something to prove after a quiet season. My verdict, the move with Hardy is pure gold. This man is a killer on special teams, and in a team that loses games by details, having someone who gives you extra possessions is invaluable. But Bill Murray? I will always be skeptical here. Converting a defensive player to the offensive line is like changing the wheels on a Ferrari while moving. Will it work? He has everything to prove in camp. And if not, are the Bears wasting their time? And watch out for what's coming. The pending RFAs, Chris Williams, Josh Blackwell, Jalen Jones, and Doug Kramer. Who stays? Who gets their suitcase? Management has to make TOUGH decisions here. And now, My key question for you, Bear Nation. Do you think retaining Hardy and Murray is enough to improve this team? Or should the Bears have been more aggressive in free agency? What's up, Bear Nation? Today we have key decisions to debate, and I need your opinion to build the best team possible. First, the defensive line. If Milton Williams asks for $53 million for 3 years, would you sign that? Check. Or would you prefer to go after an elite edge rusher and pick a DT in the draft? I want to know your strategy. But the conversation doesn't end there. On offense, bringing in Tre'Veyon Henderson or a star running back like Ginty would that be a smart move? Or an unnecessary risk? Would you risk the future by betting everything on an RB now? Or reinforce the lines first and then look for young talent in the draft? That's up to you. And here's the strongest debate. Do you think keeping players like Hardy and Murray is ENOUGH to compete in the NFC North? Or should the Bears have been more aggressive in free agency? If you were the GM, would you invest more in experience? Or trust the promises you already have? Comment below your answers. What would be your plan to take the Bears to the Super Bowl? Let me know with a comment. If you want to be part of this family that builds the team's future together, subscribe. And don't miss a single analysis. Here we're not just fans. We are Bear Nation. Hit like, activate the bell, and see you in the comments. Bear down.